What you know about love?
Love is love and love is real. It's not about money or feel.
Huh?
Like obligated to something that you don't want.
Did you hear what she said?
It's time for us to keep it real.
Real.
You and I both know the deal.
Yeah.
Think it's time for us to love one another.
Now love is love. Love is real.
What's up, cousins? Welcome back to The Burn. And this is the channel you come to when you don't hear what you want to hear, you hear what you need to hear. Now I'm going to jump right into it. Always talking to the black man, always about the black man makeover, right? Right now, we're all being raised with no father. Myself included, you included, our children included. We have no father figure in our community, none whatsoever. Now, at one time, we could talk about Martin, we could talk about Malcolm, we could talk about Ralph Abernathy. We can talk about a gang of black leaders, Huey P. Newton. Whether they stood for the good or they stood for the bad, we had leadership. There were boundaries at one time that we wouldn't cross for the sake of saving face, for the sake of being upheld as respectable in the black community. Because these certain leaders set benchmarks for us to be proud of. Now, since all these people I've named, the best that we had over the last 20, 30 years, fortunately, but unfortunately, and God bless their souls and God bless their lives for being these participants in leadership, Jesse Jackson and Al Sharpton. Okay, now a few people have raised their heads ever since, but no one has really stood the test of time. Now, back in 2008, I swear to God, I got real happy when I saw that we was going to have our first black elected president, our new leader, and when I say leader, I hate to sound as if this is what we need, but when you do have a person in your community that stands for something and falls for nothing, it gives you inspiration to be a better man. It gives you that inspiration. Now, I'll even talk about the Muslim community. Let's talk about Farrakhan. Let's talk about Elijah Muhammad, okay? Let's talk about Malcolm X. These people were leaders, and they had an army of men that needed to meet a certain bar and be raised to a certain level from where we were. And it worked. And to this day, do you hear anything about black Muslims the way you hear about black American men? Let it burn. So their leadership is still intact, whether you like it or you don't. That's the way it is. But in our black community, what have we learned to worship? Who have we learned to worship? Who have we learned to follow? Who are our leaders? Is it the rappers? Is it the NBA players? Is it the NFL players? Is it the entertainers? But what politician, what person of wealth are we really following? I can't name too many, but what I can name is that a majority of our community are following the rap world. And what's being worshipped in the rap world? The dollar bill. And get it by any means, how you live. So that's a whole set of people, young black men, that are going their own way with no boundaries. Get that dollar, how you live. Grown men like myself, we would love to be able to say in conversation, yeah, such and such is who I follow and who I mess with, as opposed to having to just submit to whoever else is raising their head through another ethnicity or through another community. Now, no disrespect to this next man I'm going to mention, a friend of mine, and at the same time, it's just an example, so let's keep this in context. Anytime something big happens in our community, okay, or anytime a big announcement is made, it's made by a type of person like a Jay-Z who has become, our Jehovah, quote unquote. Now, I'm not saying this is a bad thing, but Jay-Z's message, not only being money, not only being empowerment, but at the same time, is his message the message of a Malcolm or of a Martin? Or do we hear from his message as much as we should? Does he enforce the message within the community, or is it basically enforced within his community or his home or his flock, personal? You see, a lot of us, we get roped off and sequestered from the ones who really need something once we, become successful, or once we get to a certain tax bracket. We sequester ourselves from the real people who need the help and who need, like I tell you, the hands up. Now, I'm not calling this a bad thing. I get it. At times, I don't want to be a part of my people because they embarrass me. And I don't want to be embarrassed. But at the same time, I got to fight the fight. And we need a leader. We need a father, because we are all fatherless right now and we're running amok. There are no boundaries to how we get money. There are no boundaries to how we deal with women. There are no boundaries to how we deal with the law. We're just running amok. It's making us look crazy. Crazy. Now, all our heroes that we grew up on are falling by the wayside. I don't want to name the names because you already know. You already know. And the sad part about it, guess what? This is just the beginning. It hasn't stopped. I guarantee you that. Nobody's safe. So your past is now becoming your present. Okay? And this is where we're at in America. This is the demise of the black man. This is our extinction. There is a bigger agenda going on that does not include us nor our masculinity. So black man, when I talk about the black man makeover, I hope you see it around you. I hope you take heed to it and take it serious now. Because this is a 911. This is a DEFCON 5. This cannot be held down anymore. This has to be talked about. And there have to be moves made. And yeah, we need a leader. Let it burn.